Okay, I'd like to demonstrate your in-class project number 13, the rolling ball. This will be your introduction to two-dimensional motion. In two-dimensional motion, you're going to move up and down, left and right, diagonally. And this is going to be just a little bit different. It's just an addition to what you've been doing in one-dimensional motion. But just like we started one-dimensional motion with the rolling wheel, which was uniform motion and reflections, we're going to do uniform motion in 2 dimensions and reflections off of walls first here. So first we're going to do reflections off of this play area, and these have nice horizontal and vertical edges. And then later on, for the next 2 sessions, we're going to look at how to do things with diagonals, diagonal walls, and how to reflect off diagonal walls, and all of that sort of vector operation stuff that's going to be a little more difficult. When you actually run your template, this is what you're going to see. You're going to see this green play area in the middle of a black screen, and you're going to see a ball, and that ball is not going to move. Your job will be to program in the motion. And the easiest thing to do is probably to just start by programming in one-dimensional motion. So it'll move left and right, back and forth, just like this. And so the ball moves left, or the ball moves right, bounces off the edge, goes left, and so forth and so on. What we'd like to do after this is add in some vertical motion. So when you have the vertical motion, it'll go in a diagonal direction. It'll bounce off the top and the bottom. This isn't particularly difficult. It's just that you have to you have to learn how to think in 2 dimensions, which is not easy for everybody. Now, also, you'll notice that this is not bouncing off the edges of the screen, it's bouncing off the edges of these walls. What you do should be resizable. So if I change this size here, the ball changes its size, everything scales. The ball, the field, everything, it scales to the size of your window. So it gets smaller, it gets larger, and so forth and so on. Everything that you do should work with the scaling. So we've worked with scaling before when we drew the soccer pitch. We want to work with scaling again, and we always want to have something that scales well. Remember, the field is drawn in meters. The ball is drawn in meters. The window is drawn in pixels. We need to translate from one to the other. So there should never be any problem in doing any resizing. If you can't resize and everything works, then you've got a major problem with your code. You've got a logical error somewhere in your code, and you're going to have to find it. So that's what I'm going to have you do in the next day or so. Oh, and I lost my ball. Oh well, I know.